That's what they telling me to come for me. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let you go. When she telling me to come forward, come for me. That's what they telling me to come forward. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let her go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's telling me to come forward, come for me. See, I don't know why I finally now I just spoke my mind. I know it's long since we spoke sometime, but this thing no play, I go change your mind. Just give me some time, baby, please. Cause I don't have no time to waste. No more back and forth just like Aaliyah. That's all I wanna do right now. Grab it up. So you know me gonna grab it up. Body to body make a bend up for the reeling. Bad man turn you over like a steering. Well, when me gonna grab it up. So you know me gonna grab it up. Body to body make a bend up for the reeling. Bad man turn you over like a steering. Well, she telling me to come forward, come for me. That's what she telling me to come for me. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let you go. When she telling me to come forward, come for me. That's what she telling me to come forward. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let her go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's telling me to come forward, come for me.
It does kill it.
You made the decision to play Thiago. Klopp doesn't change the system. Move back left. You don't want to change from the 4-3.
Boom, what's going on, people? We're back again on the Jerry James Show. And look, I don't even need to introduce this preview, man. It's a massive, massive game. Obviously, we've got United, Liverpool versus United. It's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a crazy one. I'm gonna have to go and kind of play devil's advocate, which suits me, to be fair. Because guess what, people? We've got G back in the building. G's back. G is back. You know, welcome everyone. Welcome G. Round of applause. He's been on holiday.
Tell him, hey, Jerry James, I'm happy to be back, man. I'm happy to be back. Yeah, telling me.
There you go, man. Big up. And look, before I get into the comments, we've got a special guest in the building. Some people calling him MC, other people calling the king of sport late night chats. We've got Ty. From their profile. Big up Ty, man. Listen, love for having you on. You're up today. But look, big up for having you on, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me. Obviously, we sorted this out like a month ago. So just dominated, and I'm there, man. Great guys. Big up G, big up Jerry every single time, man. Make sure you're liking the video, people. Make sure you subscribe and real content, real conversation on this channel. So I love these guys. And then, yeah, man, for our stuff, Trafford Tunnel's my Man United channel, and then Never a Fouls, our generic channel, where some of these guys are obviously on there, here and there as well, man. So, yeah, man. Big game, big vibes. I'm not nervous now, but when they walk out that tunnel, everything changes.
It does not.
Hey, don't get nervous now. You know, this is just a preview, dog. This is just a preview.
Exactly, man. Guys, as you heard, make sure you're heading over to Ty as well. Look, is obviously in the chat as well. So it's obviously Tara MC, obviously Trafford Tunnel to get that Man United content, and Never a File as well. People, make sure we're heading over there. They're doing great stuff over there. I'm going to put obviously Ty's links and Never a File links and Trafford Tunnel's links in the description after the video. So please make sure we're heading over there. We've got a couple people in the building already. We got Ish saying smash the like. I mean, Ish is out here doing up Shoreditch. Do you know what I mean, having drinks? So he couldn't make it today, but it is what it is. We got Ed in the building saying big up JJ and Amanda. D-Day is almost upon us. We got Barry saying, look, going to be on my PS4 tonight, so I'm going to miss the show. But I do want to say this. I don't care that we won against Wolves. Pathetic little wins here and there over the course of this abysmal season does not make up for such poor performances. Trust me. We got FJ as well in the building. FJ's been waiting. Listen, FJ's been calling wins all season, bro. It hasn't been your season, bro. You know what? He might. I'm not sure if Ty knows about FJ, but FJ actually might be a bad omen.
FJ, you're moving like a jinx. You're moving like a jinx, though. As in, you need to stop with the content just for a little bit. Let us get back, and then when we're back, you can. Nah, I'm playing, man. Make sure you guys head over to FJ's content, man. That is actually some funny, real shit as well, man. Real shit.
Yeah, big up FJ. We got Sophia Football Talks as well in the building, saying big up, Intros Fire, big up to yourself. We got Gio in the building, saying big up to Ty as well. We got Cool Dude as well, saying, you know what would change the YouTube game? Have to drop a like before commenting. Yeah, facts. It would 100%. And obviously we got Mr. Brooks as well, saying, look, welcome back, Minister G, JJ and Ty. Big up Mr. Brooks, man. But look, as stated before, massive game. We're not going to go all out. Look, we could do the double team thing on Ty, but it won't be fair. Do you know what I mean?
I can hold it, man. I'm here. I know you guys, so it's all right, man. It's football talk, innit? It's football talk.
But look, massive game. I want to kind of just, get a Ty's perspective on United season as a whole. Obviously, Ten Hag's come in, signings have come in, a change of culture. It started off a bit shaky, and then you faced us and at Old Trafford, and everything changed for you guys, and everything went downhill for us. Like, it got even worse. So chat to me, man. Has it been?
Yeah, you know what? That's actually so interesting. Big up, sorry, my guy down there, Alex, in the comments. Well, make sure you subscribe, Alex, to this channel, man. He's my boy coming over later.
Okay,
he's a Liverpool
fan. Alex, man.
Yeah, Alex, man. Make sure you check Jerry's channel out and G's as well. But yeah, do you know what? It's so funny when you say it like that. Our season actually changed with the win against you guys at home. I know you were missing a couple of players, but then we were out of form. The Brentford game, we had the Brighton game as well. But for me, Ten Hag has done such a good job. Like I was saying, you know me, Joe. I always say it's a realist, man. At the start of the season, I was saying top 6, and if we could win a cup, but I want to see better football first because the football we were getting was poor, and we've seen better football. We're in the top 3 as things stand, and we're still in every cup competition out there that's available. So he's exceeding expectations. And I know people will say, but yeah, he spent 200 million on Casemiro, Anthony, and all that. Football is deeper than that. It's about the culture, like you said. It's about the players all being on board, no egos. And let's not get it twisted, right? We lost our first 2 games to Brentford and Brighton. And it wasn't like, we just beat Liverpool and obviously we went from there. You guys know we've had the Harry Maguire situation when he was doing the court, all that sort of stuff. And then he came back, he was captain, he was off form. He dropped him 2 games after, dropped him for the game against you guys. Then we've had the Marcus Rashford situation, playing in the form of his life, misses a meeting by 10 minutes. And Ten Hag's like, I don't care if you're missing a meeting. The principles lie across from youth level up to the prolific players like you. And you're not playing against Wolves. Comes on and scores. Job done. Squash the beef. And then you have the Ronaldo situation. 2 years ago, I can categorically say I was the only Man United streamer, probably with rants, that was saying this was a bad move for Man United. Getting Ronaldo back, 37, it's not the same. But the sentiment of fans and everything, Ronaldo, this and that, scores on his debut when I was there. Everyone's talking about winning the league. But I'm like, no, because it's bad for the team. And look what's happened. Ronaldo's left, and the team's gone on from then. We lost against, I think, Aston Villa in his last game, Unai Emery's debut first game for Aston Villa. But since then, we've gone from strength to strength. So, like, he's built a culture. There's no pedestals in terms of player hierarchy. Everyone's, like, building into Ten Hag's system. And he's also dealt with players individually and then overcoming, big changes and dropping the captain and things like that. So I feel like everything he's been tested with in the last 6 months, he's actually come through it. Like, there's no rival fan. And I know obviously you guys are Liverpool. I hate you guys more than I hate Man City, if I'm honest. But I have to put respect in it. If you lot are doing great, I'm like, you know what? Hold my hands up. Liverpool are doing good. Yes. But I know you guys can see that we are heading in the right direction. And what Ten Hag's had to overcome and what he's also done at the same time, bro, I'm excited, man. This is the most excited I've been since Ferguson. Simple.
Bro. I mean, he's spitting facts. It's tough to go and say it, but look, United, you're doing all the right things.
This is where we were 4 years ago with you lot, though.
Yeah, no, it was. Do you know what I mean? And we're not, like, in this channel, we're going to be real, innit? It is what it is. United, like I said, is it? I'm gonna chat this at UG. Is this game the kind of changing of the guard? So obviously we saw a period of obviously United dominated obviously for far longer. Liverpool obviously surpassed United in terms of being the biggest team in England, but obviously outperforming them in every kind of metric. Right now on the pitch, United seem to have kind of something's clicked and actually caused United to now be outperforming Liverpool on the pitch.
I think, to be honest, everything Ty said is like, it's as you said, it's roles reversed, isn't it? 4 years ago, we were looking like, oh, right, we're heading in that kind of direction. Things are exciting. You're getting new players. There's something that's clearly working with the manager. They're building something, etc., etc. But when I look at it, I'll be real, not really. Like, Ty mentioned something about like the sentimental with fans in terms of Ronaldo. I put it to this kind of fixture as well. Sentimentally, yeah, you can say if United win, then there's a changing of the guard. I'll be honest, Ten Hag has impressed me more than I actually thought he would. Let's put it that way. I don't think he'd come in and do what he did. Everything Ty mentioned about the Ronaldo situation, with the Marcus Rashford one, I find that so key because that's your best player. Your best player. Do you think Klopp would ever drop Mo Salah if he was 10 minutes late for a meeting? He'd be like, nah, you know what? We'll talk about it later on, etc., etc. Now, obviously, different player, different context, etc., etc. And I get all of that. But what you're starting to do is you're setting a precedent. When you set that precedent, it moves forward. Now, every player now, they look at it in the situation, and new players who come in to the football club, they're looking at it and thinking to themselves, right, boy, if he's dropping Rashford, I can't just come in here 10 minutes late myself. Yeah, I don't care if I cost 600 million. I still can't come into a meeting 10 minutes late and think that I can just walk into the team. It don't work like that. And I think when you're able to set that kind of precedent, and listen, look, let's be real. At the end of the day, you still got to look through, even from when Fergie left till let's say Ten Hag came in. Let's not act like Manchester United have not had very good managers within that time. Obviously, things behind the scenes haven't really worked. Players, they've had absolute world-class gems in that team, but just something, whatever it is, Ty would obviously be able to tell you, just hasn't really worked. When he's come in now, he's just changed the whole aura about the football club. And I mentioned it in the preview that I did earlier on today, is that when you've got someone with fresh ideas, a whole new regime, everything's just fresh, new voice, new ideas, players are hungry. He's bringing in young players. He's giving importance to other players. He's giving reassurances to other players. Jadon Sancho, someone who, if he was under any other manager, that guy would be gone. He'll be in the wilderness right now. But what has he done? He's told him, listen, look, you go away, you do your thing. You do your thing. We'll come back and look at the situation maybe a bit later. We'll integrate you back into the squad. You know what? We've got Garnacho. He's now coming into the fold. You know what, Garnacho? We know what type of a maverick, the type of a player that you are. We're going to integrate you into the squad in a certain type of way. And he's just done everything is just right. Obviously, look, let's not be silly. At the end of the day, there's going to be a hiccup at some point in time. But at this current moment in time, when I'm looking at Manchester United, and I said this on the terrace the other day, and I said this to Terry, and I said, the reality is, I'm not even worried about Manchester United if and when they get this investment. It's not even about how much they can spend, because they've been able to spend. The spend the money isn't the problem. It's what they're doing with the money. It's how they're spending the money. It's the things behind the scene. And with someone like Erik ten Hag at the helm, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, if you looked at the two teams right now and you asked me today, right, if you had to predict in the next 4 years who's going to have a more successful season or more successful seasons in the next 4 years, I'm saying Manchester United, because everything is in their favor. There's nothing that you're looking at with Liverpool and then saying, hey, you know what? That's it. Yeah, Liverpool can do it. It doesn't even matter. You can pinpoint every world-class player that Liverpool has, and you could probably say, give or take, Liverpool might have maybe subjectively more world-class players than a Manchester United. But I look at Manchester United and say, nah, they've got the team, they've got the ethos, they've got the philosophy, they've got the manager, they've got everything that's in place. All they need now is obviously with the backing, and obviously that's all the infrastructure and training. That's all behind the scenes. The manager's doing what he needs to do on the pitch. And I think when you've got a manager the players trust, and the players are looking to and thinking to themselves, you know what, this is a guy that we can really get behind. This is the guy that we can actually look at and say, in games against Manchester United, against Arsenal, even against Manchester City, even when they got beat 6-3, it wasn't even, I didn't even look, yes, okay, that first half, you got completely blitzed. But usually in that second half, you're not winning that second half. That's not happening. You're not winning that second half. But you won that second half. I know it sounds silly because it ended up being 6-3. And obviously the perspective, go on.
that actually helped us because I think we got a bit overconfident going into that game, and that was kind of the
Yes.
second reality that we had. And then Ten Hag made a couple changes since then, and we've not seen a performance like that since then, really. So, like,
And he's very 100%. And I think what he's very good at is obviously, look, at the end of the day, it's all hindsight and it's all being able to do what you can do with the tools that you have available. But what I feel like he's been good at, which is what I really, really like about Manchester United, and everybody knows here at the end of the day, I'm a football fan first, so I'm always trying to look at the football perspective. When I look at the players that he's got in, the Casemiros, when you guys signed Casemiro, there's a lot of and ahhing. Casemiro, he's like 29, 30. Is he past his best? I'm like, hold on. We're talking about a guy who's just dumped the Champions League and made that his playground, played for the biggest club in world football, playing around the best players in world football, and you're trying to tell me that he can't come into Manchester United and teach these guys something? Come on, man. Like, he's able to put these cogs into there. And on top of that, you look at, just quickly, you look at the Harry Maguire situation. Remember, Harry Maguire has been captain, even though we all could probably sit here and say, yeah, man, that guy doesn't deserve to be maybe at Manchester United or doesn't deserve to be the captain. But he's even handled that situation well. Like I said, man, things are looking up for Manchester United, in my personal opinion, man.
It's mad because you speak about the Casemiro one, yeah? And I'm going to be honest. When Casemiro signed, I was out here saying, he's the destroyer, but United need a bit more. They need a bit more. They need a bit more quality on the ball. I was like, it's good.
Yeah, he was a hater. Yeah, he was a hater.
And I was like, look, it might work. It might have been. I was wrong, innit? I was wrong.
Yeah, Jerry, I was like you, bro. I was like, I love Casemiro. 60 million, I think, in the 30-year-old. I saw his performances against Chelsea and City in the Champions League, and I was like, he was getting pulled off. And I was like, the Premier League is quicker and it's more intense than La Liga. And I was thinking, has he still got the legs to do it? I know his brain works, but can his legs do it? And I'm not saying I was like, no, don't sign him. But I was like, is it going to be the full Casemiro? And we've seen it. Obviously, he's destroying. His passing is better than what we thought. I think we all live in that basis of he played next to Modric and Kroos, so his passing is underrated to us. Because we can't sit and say we watch La Liga every week. We watch the big games. So, and he's in there to more destroy. But yeah, he has surprised me. And you know what? It's the fact that as well, at his age, he's actually not picked up any injuries yet, apart from the suspension he's had. He's actually like Bruno Fernandes. These guys are playing every minute of every game when they're needed. And I think what's impressing me the most is that I call it, obviously, we're all West Indian here. Obviously, would you know about the ends? But I call it the Bermuda Triangle now. When you're getting in that triangle, you're not getting out. Martinez, Varane, Casemiro. That has changed our team so much. We've gone from, Maguire, Lindelof, and McTominay to Casemiro, Varane, and Martinez. Winners, fighters, Champions Leagues, World Cups, whatever you want to call it. They want to win. And when you have that in your team and you have that as your core, it's filtering through the whole squad. And then I know De Gea has his criticisms, but still, our longest serving player, he's a decorated international. He's won the Premier League with us. When you look at that spine through there, it is a core, and that's just filtered away, through the team. And I think what's impressed me the most is that we're not just like winning games as well. I think Manchester United this year are winning games in different ways. If you look at it, right, we've lost to, we went 1-0 down to Barcelona, home and away. We went 1-0 down to Leeds at home. We went 1-0 down to City in the 70th minute at home. We've come back and we've won them games. I know the Leeds one we drew, but 2-3 years ago, you're watching us under Ragnick, you're watching us under Ollie, and you're like, where the Manchester United goals coming from? And for the first time, I said this on the Never a Foul preview with Grizz yesterday. For the first time in a long time, I was watching the game against West Ham on Wednesday. They went 1-0 up. And I sat there and I was like, we're not losing this. We are scoring. It's going extra time or we're winning. And I haven't felt like that in a long time as a Manchester United fan. And guys know I keep it real. I was like, wow, I know we're definitely in a different place. If I'm not sitting here worrying that we're going to lose this game in 90 minutes. And I just thought, you know what? Everything's coming together at the right time for us. But I got a question for you guys, because I asked Grizz this yesterday. Do you feel, right, at Anfield, you normally, you get your early goal or you beat us comfortably in the last few years. Yeah. Is this the first time you feel like you're going into this game as underdogs?
Yep. Man United are favourites. They have to be favourites.
They have to be
favourites.
How can we not? How can we not? Yeah. How can we not?
Well, because of the game, because of the occasion. We've seen 2009. You guys remember it? You bopped us with the centre and Aurelio at Old Trafford when we had Ronaldo and everyone. These games can sometimes
that can happen, but that's the underdog having this rocky moment. That's all it is.
So you feel you're underdogs tomorrow.
But then also remember, and this is, I'm not going to go too far into this conversation. There's a difference in manager. Look at the manager who rocked up with Dossena and thing, and look at the manager who's rocking up now. Jurgen Klopp and Rafa Benitez. One's a tactician, one is not. So I will have a lot more faith if Klopp rocked up with Dossena and Aurelio. You're dumping us regardless. It don't even Torres, Gerrard can't do shit. It's not. It just wouldn't happen. Rafa Benitez, he always had a plan. That is the difference between, and this is why I place so much emphasis on managers and tactics, and this is why I like Ten Hag so much. As you just said, they're rightfully tight. You're winning games differently. No two game is the same. There's not like, okay, you might play 4-2-3-1 or whatever as your base tactic, for example, but within the game, if things need changing, if you're not playing well, we can swap players out. And when you swap the players out, the formation and the tactics change. Whereas here now, with Liverpool, the problem you're getting is that it's 4-3-3. You take off one player, it's 4-3-3. You take off another guy, it's 4-3-3. And then you're wondering, okay, so how do we change the game to win? I don't get it.
And you was mad tight. And on top of that, yeah, this is where my unbiased kind of, do you know what I mean, perspective.
It was coming out always.
It always comes out, I'm wrong, isn't it? Listen, he's putting these players in, but he's asking them to do the same role. So it's not even like he's putting in this player, but saying, you know what? You're going to give us more legs in the midfield, so I want you to go and break the lines and dribble with the ball more. He's still being asked to do that Henderson role or that Gini Wijnaldum role, or when Gakpo goes into up front or Jota goes up front, he's not going and playing and giving us a different, like a kind of a different option up front. Yeah. He's coming in and Klopp's telling him, you've got to do what Bobby's doing. And that's the problem. Whereas Ten Hag, look what he done with Wout Weghorst, playing him in another 10.
Like perfect example, putting him in a 10, putting Bruno out wide, stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's mad. So when I look at that, it does. It hurts.
What is this like for you guys though? Because like when you look at Liverpool, you just summed it up, G. Like it's 4-3-3. You know, we know kind of what you're going to be doing at the moment. Liverpool, for me, over the years, have always had that energy in midfield. You know, that's how you rely on that energy. You see your high press, you dominated teams physically. I would say, not saying that you're the most muscleless team, but you just could out battle them. Do you know what I mean? For 90 minutes. I look at your team now, and you're probably going to go, I don't know, I always say his name wrong, but it's Bajcetic, Fabinho, and Henderson in there. And I look at Henderson, despite Henderson being who he is, he's just not the same player. Fabinho's had a decline in the last 18 months to 2 years, which is sad because I really do rate that player. And then Bajcetic, you're relying on sort of, he's your most all-rounded midfielder, I'd say, but he's 18. And you've seen what happened, you know, when he played Real Madrid. He's playing in good form, playing against Newcastle and stuff like that. And then you do little things wrong in the Real Madrid game where you might beat the press and you hold on the ball too long, get dispossessed, Real Madrid hitting you on the transition and stuff like that. He'll learn a lot from that. But we're talking about your best midfielder being an 18-year-old right now going into a game like this. And where I've always feared Liverpool is like when you had the Wijnaldums and, you know, you're just dominating us. The Chamberlains, even when he's on form, he's got the legs, you know, to ball carry and stuff like that. I'm looking at this Liverpool team and I'm thinking, how do they beat us? Because normally how they beat teams is by the overall overhauling us of energy. But is it time now? Because your lack of creativity in midfield with Bajcetic, Fabinho and Henderson, like, how are you going to get the ball to the front men? Is it going to be Man United coming here and we're going to impose ourselves and we're going to dominate the ball and you're just looking to hit us with a Trent long ball to Nunes over the top? Like, has it become that predictable now?
Bro,
you just said it. You just said the whole game plan.
The hat like Klopp, you put the cap on and you're in the dugout, bro. That's exactly what Klopp's relaying to them. That's exactly what Klopp's relaying to them.
It's I think we've gotten to that point where obviously, look, this season is this season, whether you want to call it an anomaly or not, I don't know. Obviously, we'll find out next season with how things kind of pan out. But when you look at Liverpool just in the decline that it's been, let's be real, since Liverpool won the league, they've been in a decline. Even last season, the fact that we were going for all of these trophies and stuff like that, if people stopped and actually looked at the performance of the team and you notice the performances were not good. But again, wins and things like that, people get excited, you get gas. You don't really look at it from that kind of spectrum, which is understandable. Of course, your teams get into the final of the Champions League, so I can understand it from that perspective. But myself, Jerry or Romz, whoever, we'd always look at it a bit deeper and you think to yourself, it's not really looking good, but you're getting away with it. You've got Thiago who's playing all the time. You've got Fabinho who's in some type of form. You've got Henderson who can come in and do this, that, and the third. You rightly said it there, and I said it in the preview again. When it comes to Manchester United, players like Bruno, players like Casemiro, obviously Eriksen's injured, so I don't know who's going to swap in for that position. But when you've got players like Bruno who like to drop into spaces, that's going to be a massive problem for Liverpool, because they won't know if he's coming or going. And the way Liverpool are so rigid in the middle, as you said, Bajcetic is someone who he's come up against Manchester City, Real Madrid, and I think Chelsea, the three biggish teams in terms of midfield players in there. All three teams, in my opinion, he's drowned. He's absolutely drowned in the midfield. Why? Because he's come up against quality. That's not his fault. He's only 18 years old. I don't expect him to come up against those teams and impose themselves. He's now coming up against Liverpool, coming up against another better midfield, way better midfield. In even just with Casemiro, having a Fred in there, having a Bruno in there, heck throw McTominay. It doesn't really matter. It's going to be a better midfield.
Form, and obviously just
on
form,
exactly.
Even Sabitzer, by the way, with his energy, let's not underrate him.
Yeah,
and this is what I'm saying. So when we're looking at these kind of factors, now I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, cool. So how do Liverpool really combat that? And I'll be honest, Ty, you literally just said the game plan. The game plan is going to have to actually be, we're going to have to hit you on the counter attack. But my problem is, I think you're going to play Wan-Bissaka, and if you've got Wan-Bissaka on that side against Darwin Núñez, pace for pace, they can match each other. Yeah. They can match each other.
That's that's a battle. That's going to
be it's a very good battle at the bare minimum. Yeah, I don't know who would win in the race, but it's going to be a battle where usually Darwin Núñez would burn that right back, that like more 9 times out of 10. He's not burning Wan-Bissaka. That's not happening. I don't ever see a situation where he burns.
And this is why I think for you guys, and it'll be interesting to see what you think, Jerry. I want to see Núñez play on the left because I think Núñez is more of a Wan-Bissaka, by the way, I think he's been massively improved under Eric Ten Hag. The 3-month, I call it the 3-month crash course he went on between September and December. And in the World Cup, he come back like, yeah, literally you passed the driving test and now you're going, man. He's got better progressively, you know, he's comfortable on the ball, but obviously defensively, he's always been sound 1v1. I don't fear Darwin Núñez in a 1v1 battle with him because I feel like Darwin Núñez is kind of one of them left wingers, even though he's a striker, but when he's playing on the left, he likes a duel. And Wan-Bissaka loves a duel when he's playing like 1v1 with someone. I actually think you'll get more joy if you play Diogo Jota on the left. And the reason I say that is movement. Jerry, you've got it. If you play Diogo Jota, he's not a winger that wants to get on the ball and kind of like line you up 1v1 and I'm going to get past you. He's going to, you know, if Wan-Bissaka is standing right next to me, he's going to move over there and he's going to go, right, give me the ball.
Running short, trying to spin, coming
short.
Inside,
he's going to spin up in behind, come inside. I actually feel if we play Wan-Bissaka, which I expect us to in a game at Anfield, you get more joy playing Diogo Jota because of the movement. So I'm surprised that both of you actually sat there and you're assuming that Núñez is going to play there. Why couldn't he go with Núñez up top to cause the chaos runs and then put Jota on the left for movement?
Because we've watched Klopp for 7 years, Ty. That's the answer. We've watched him for 7 years. We know what he's going to do. Ty, you just came on here and you just said the whole game plan of what we're most likely going to do, and you don't even watch Liverpool. What does that tell you for what this guy has been doing? Again, I'm not here to bash Jurgen Klopp or nothing, and I keep saying I don't want to go down that road, but the reality is, when you keep saying it, all these little things keep coming out all the time, and it's not even just about bashing him. It's just about stating the obvious. It's about stating the facts. At the end of the day, you're so predictable that all of us here as content creators can just come on here and tell you, yeah, well, Liverpool are going to play this way. So if we know that as...
What's this stubbornness?
I don't know.
But this is what I'm saying, Ty. This is the question that me, G, Romz, and Ish have been chatting about on this channel for ages. Why are we not changing? Why are we not changing formation? Why are we not changing our tactics? I don't know. You'll be speaking. It's like speaking to a brick wall when you're asking this with Klopp.
I get more change out of my 3-year-old, bro. It's getting annoying now.
You have reporters that are asking questions like questions. Oh, you've got an injury here. Does that mean you're going to go and play this, or does this mean that Gakpo's going to play in midfield? And he gets all mad and aggressive, like someone's chat about his misses, and then people just become yes men in the media room. It's crazy, but it is. That's what it is. Look, I think that makes sense. The problem is that Núñez, to be a bit more concise into why Núñez won't play up front, is because Klopp has seen and he prefers Gakpo, Bobby, even Jota, players that are a bit better in holding up the ball, linking play, coming off the line and allowing Salah and giving Salah space. Núñez isn't great at that. Núñez has always been an in-behind type of striker. So even though he's got the presence to be like a Drogba or that type of striker where he's holding a man off and then trying to he's not going to go and do that. So why it suits him a bit better, because he can kind of drift that wide. And Origi was so similar. It's crazy because we got rid of Origi, but Origi was very similar. When he played down the centre, it wasn't great. When we played 4-2-3-1, he was good. Remember the season he got injured before we were in the Champions League when we had the green kit G. He was playing up top.
Yeah, I remember that.
Ghana in the 10. It worked. Guess what happens when we go to a 4-3-3? It doesn't work anymore. He's got to keep going and playing out wide. It's the same thing with Nunes. So I just don't see. If anything, I see Gakpo or Jota playing up front. Most likely Jota.
Yeah, see, I think Jota can cause us some problems. I think at the end of the day with it, I know someone put a comment in there saying like, obviously the form does kind of go out the window, but as a football fan, you don't feel like that, of course, because I get it. Liverpool, you know, I've got a couple of wins lately, but then obviously the Real Madrid setback, and you kind of feel like you're basing it off the whole season, which I am as well. I'm coming into Anfield tomorrow, and I'm not going to come here and shout and say, yeah, we're winning 3-0, 4-0. However, I'll be lying if I didn't say to you, I'm coming there feeling the most confident I've been in the last 5, 6, 7 years because of the way we are, because of our manager, because of the togetherness, and also I just feel like the way we're winning games. And I think the one big thing for you guys, and I said this to Grizz yesterday, you're gonna have to score 2 or more to win tomorrow, because we are scoring at Anfield tomorrow. I'll be shocked. That's one thing I can guarantee. If we don't score at Anfield tomorrow, I'm thinking, well, how did we not? Because teams like Newcastle, for example, they played you with 10 men for a majority of the game. Yes, you won, but you knew that they still had chances. St. Maximin was still causing some dangerous moments and stuff like that. But, you know, you got through the game and you got the points. But if we can't cause you trouble with the team we have at the moment, and also, like G said, the ability to, you know, change things in the 60th, 70th minute, you know, we've seen it every time. Weghorst comes off in like the 60th minute, and then Rashford will go up front for the last 30 to get in behind and sort of stretch the game and make it a bit different. We've got Garnacho that can come on. We've got Sancho. It might be Bruno outright, and Anthony comes on. I feel like the changes we can make in them crucial moments are pivotal. You guys are bringing on maybe your Harvey Elliott's. Fabio Cavalli's not really getting a look in now, but your James Milners and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? You're laughing, but it's you know what I'm saying? When I'm looking at it as a rival, I'm like, look, you're laughing. That makes me feel like, yeah, we're here. Do you know what I mean? We got to come to Anfield and we've got to try and dominate. I'm just very intrigued to see how we go about our business, because it's like, are we going to let you have the ball for the first 15 minutes, then take control? Or are we just going to set our stall out and say, right, let's silence Anfield? Because that thing about Anfield, I know people are slating it at the moment because obviously you lost to Real Madrid and you conceded 5, but Anfield for Man United games will be rocking. And that's what you probably need for tomorrow. If you score in the first 7 minutes, Jota header, the game's changed. Like, form does go out the window and it just feels like you're emotionally into the game. So I'm very intrigued to see how we go out and, you know, set our stall. Is it going to be Anthony on the right-hand side to tackle Robertson, who I think is having a bit of a blip season? Or is it going to be Bruno and then we cram the midfield of Fred, Sabitzer and Casemiro and just try and dominate you? Like, this is the thing about it, G. I love Ten Hag because I don't know what he's going to do. Where you're like 4-3-3, Klopp's going to play this as either Jota or Gakpo down the middle and stuff. And I love that this Ten Hag is a thinker. And I said it a few weeks ago, like when we lost to Arsenal away 3-2 and Casemiro was out. Remember, we got a yellow card against Palace? Yeah. Everyone was like, obviously, the game's done and everything like that. And I was like, yes, on paper, obviously, the game feels like, yeah, it's taking a big swing for Arsenal. But I said, if you're looking at managers like, I'll put Tuchel in there, I'll say Pep definitely, Ten Hag, and maybe even like Rafael Benitez, even though he's a bit old school. These managers love conundrums. They love to think. If we're playing Nottingham Forest at home, Ten Hag's probably thinking, right, I'll play this team. The players will go out and just do their job. However, when Casemiro came out, it was like, you remember his press conference? I have a game plan. We have a way. And we nearly bloody executed it. And we're going into this game against Liverpool, who will know that your biggest plus at the moment for me, guys, is probably 4 clean sheets in the league in a row. And I know it's something not to really shout about, but still, it's a base there you can try and continue from. But Ten Hag's going to come into this game with a thought process, with a plan, because it's still Liverpool. So I'm excited to see how we line up, man. But what is that the plus for you guys? Looking at it from the big up Jamie, by the way. Sorry, I couldn't make you show earlier.
Big up Jamie Phillips.
Big up Jamie, man. Sorry, I made it back on this one. Do you feel, guys, like with that clean sheet base and Konate back, who I think is brilliant, by the way, that's like something that you can hold on to going into tomorrow? If you have to find a positive, I'm trying to play clever here and see what your positive is going into the game, rather than United, favourites in this.
I think what you mentioned about one thing I will say, what you did say about the Anfield crowd, I will back that in terms of, I think Ten Hag would have to play in like 15-20 minute intervals, if that makes sense. I.e., we're not silly. At the end of the day, Anfield is Anfield. We went 2-0 up against Madrid. Now, Madrid are Madrid. That's a whole different ball game. But we went 2-0 up against Madrid. Now, you do that against Manchester United. I'm not saying you go out and necessarily win, but you probably get a better result than you would do against a Madrid. And I think he'll know that and he'll understand that. So it's just whether or not he feels he's got a game plan that can kind of temper that, because big game, fans are going to be up for it. Players are going to feel that kind of extra, 10% that they would normally, feel in a game of this kind of magnitude. And especially with the way the season's gone as well, Manchester United players are going to be up as well. So I think that first 15, 20 minutes, if it's still 0-0, and then Manchester United can start getting their way a little bit, that's when I think the game starts to turn for me. But if Liverpool can get an early goal, as you said, all of a sudden form just goes out the window. All of a sudden now everyone's emotionally invested. Everyone's thinking, shit, we just made a mistake. You're maybe not tracking your man, that extra, yard or two. Little things start to kind of pan out in the game. And I think for me, that's where I see Liverpool winning the game, is actually in the first 15, 20 minutes, is that you're going to probably have to blitz them away quite early in the game, because if they start to get a foothold, it just starts to get long. Yeah, it just starts to get long, man.
Yeah,
honestly.
We're a growing team. That is something.
Yes.
Our negative has actually probably been slow starters. If I could pick one under 10 hard, we grow as the game goes on. If we get through that first 20 minutes 0-0, I'm thinking, okay.
I think that's going to be key. I think if I go back to, just to echo what G's saying, if I go back to this City game last season where they beat us, where Foden terrorized Milner.
Yep.
Yeah.
That first half, they nullified the crowd. They didn't go forward. They pretend that they're going forward, and you see Foden just pass it back. They'd get the ball, they're popping it about. You'd think they're going to attack, and they just pass it back. And all that happens is the Anfield crowd go quiet. And the one thing I've got to criticize like Liverpool fans for, especially the match-going fans, like week in, week out, it's been shocking. The atmosphere's been shocking. Like even against Wolves, you could hear everything. You could hear fans shouting. The players didn't look like they were communicating. The atmosphere hasn't been great. But you look at the Real Madrid game, when the atmosphere's been top notch, especially leading into the game, you saw that first 10 minutes, Anfield can still be a cauldron. I think that's where Liverpool could do some damage, especially, like you get the first one, get the second one. If United then try to go and open up and want it to be like a crazy game like that, that's going to play into the hands of obviously a Núñez, a Salah, that work well with spacing behind. And you've seen that firsthand. Salah with spacing behind is going to be a problem. But if you can look up shop, Salah with no space, he's a shadow of himself, especially this season. So 100%, man. I'm just going to get into some of the comments as well before we get into kind of our. I want to know your team lineup, Ty, because actually,
man, now we'll go for it, man. I'll let you run the comments up. There's bearing.
Big up to Honesty for the super chat as well. Honesty saying last time they have beat us was 2015. Even we are doo-doo water. We rise for the derby. Plus, our last home record this season is very good. So 3-2 to Liverpool in that game. Okay, big up. We got King Cop saying JJ rocking that Clark Kent look. Hold on. Gee,
Superman.
I've worn glasses on stream before. I don't know how people are surprised. I don't know, man. But big up. King Cop saying, big up to King Cop saying, look, nice to see you back, G. I'm really worried about tomorrow, but trying to stay positive. I don't have faith in the players, but I've got more faith in them than I do in Klopp. Yeah. All right, I'm singing off the same hymn sheet as G, man. We've got Alest saying, imagine how different Sancho's situation would have been under Jose as well. Jose.
Yeah.
Very different.
He would have been in the under 21s and it would have been over. Would have been over. D'Angelo Williams, big up to D'Angelo, saying, this is what I'm saying, G. They aren't spending just to spend. This is in regards to Man United. They are spending on quality players. Liverpool don't have half the quality of players. That's facts. Ram as well saying, JJ, I didn't know you wear glasses. This is what I'm saying. Why can people get that?
JJ, you can't just come here rocking glasses and that. What's wrong with you?
Sounds like you brought out the professor look for the preview.
Ram saying, G, this is to you, G, saying, G, JJ offered me another contract after throwing one in the bin. What's going on? Talk to your...
Bro, I've been away, so you're going to have to chat to JJ in your own time, man. I can't deal with that.
Man. Like I said, Ram, if you want to join, if you want to join the party, as I said, sign the contract and it's all good, bro. We'll have you on as a regular. Ed saying, I've seen better United sides lose to Scousers and vice versa. This is one where form means nothing. That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Paul Smith saying, Klopp is so predictable. That is very frustrating. hence why he needs to be replaced. Ram then obviously saying, look, AWB struggled against Jota at Old Trafford last season. So that's very true. We got Gary Richards saying there should have been investment after winning the title, which there wasn't from Liverpool. Sam Max Legend, big up to yourself, saying Ten Hag will outdo Klopp tactically tomorrow. Sad but true. I can only see a United win. We got LS saying Caval who in terms of value. And we got LS saying, look, Ty, I'd say Robertson has been a consistent in a team of inconsistencies. He's not been perfect. No one has. He was out of form last year, but I think this year there's been a lot worse than him.
True.
Yeah, there has been certain games that have been absolutely terrible, though. Absolutely terrible, which is crazy. Yeah, big up. We got 90 people in the building, people. Let's make sure we're smashing the likes, please. Let's get us to 90 likes.
Come on, man. Do that, man. It takes half a second, man. Support the channel, man. Make sure you do that, people. They don't realize a like goes a long way for Jerry's channel, man. So make sure you
100%. But look, man, Ty, chat to us because you spoke earlier. You were chatting about obviously Ten Hag having the conundrum now. So who do I play? Do I play Fernandez on the right? Do I play Anthony on the right? What way do you think like Ten Hag's gonna go, or what team would you go and pick? Because it's difficult when I try to sit down before the stream and think about what will Ten Hag do? What's the starting lineup? I actually didn't know. I didn't know to go down the Anthony route, even though he's been playing. Does he go and play Rashford down the middle instead to go and kind of target? Obviously, we know Konate is probably going to be back, but when it was Matip and Gomez, I was thinking, does he play that and kind of just make Trent just kind of bamboozle? Does he play someone else on that side? I don't know how would you set up for that game, man?
Yeah, I thought about it today and I feel like I've got the answer, and I'm glad you mentioned about the Rashford up front thing as well. So I'm going to set it out with De Gea. It'll be Luke Shaw, Martinez, Varane, Wan-Bissaka. It'll be Casemiro and Fred, and then Bruno, and then it'll be Rashford on the left, Weghorst up top, and it'll be Anthony on the right. So there's a few reasons why I pick certain players. So the back four kind of picks itself. Casemiro, Fred, we know they're in form. They play together internationally. Bruno will play in the 10. And I think Anthony will go on the right because I feel like when Liverpool come forward, you said it earlier, Jerry, your joy is going to come out of your fullbacks. I think Anthony in transition can exploit that space in behind. But also, I feel like Anthony's a very good workhorse. So then he will actually work back and help out Wan-Bissaka when Robertson's trying to come forward. So I'll definitely go with Anthony there. Rashford, we know what Rashford and Trent, it's the movement thing. Like we said with Jota and Wan-Bissaka, movement with Rashford and Trent. We know the goal against, you guys at Old Trafford when Martial drops in the pockets, plays it through. It's always this it's just this run across. That's all it is. You're looking just to time. If he gets it, Trent's pulling him, it's an early yellow card, or it's got to be a fantastic tackle. So for me, Rashford goes on the left, and Weghorst, I'll play him centrally just because the way he's managed him, and he presses well. He's a bit of a nuisance. I get it. Like, I'm not the biggest Weghorst fan. I'm a big Martial fan. However, Weghorst is available. He's going to play. He's a nuisance. You guys like to have time on the ball with Van Dijk and Konate. He will rush you into decisions. And also, I feel like with Bajcetic or if it's Fabinho there, he will be a nuisance in terms of we won't allow you time to have, settling on the ball because Weghorst and Bruno kind of work together. We know Bruno's like a marathon runner the way he's built. He just keeps running. So I think we set up with that to go out into the game. Then I believe in like the 60th minute, it will change. And Weghorst could potentially drop into the 10. Bruno then goes out on the right and Anthony comes off. And then Rashford goes into the central position. Because where you asked a moment ago and said, could he play Rashford up front? There's a big reason why I say we don't do that. We've been winning games and in different ways, like I said, coming back from behind and so forth. Weghorst has worked at the moment, playing up front. If we use Rashford up front from the get-go and it doesn't work, where do we go from there? And that's the big question mark that hangs over my head. We go with Weghorst because it's the trusted way. It's the way we know how to win at the moment. And then we change it with Rashford. And then he comes on in the 60th minute up top instead of from the left. If we started with Rashford up front and imagine you take the lead or at 60th minute, it's like, oh, okay, what do we do? We can't then move Rashford back on the left and put Weghorst up front because I feel like we want to, have that pace in behind. You want to have more of a threat. We can't use our plan B as a plan A. We've got a plan A right now that's working. Rashford up front in the last 30 is the plan B. Don't change it for a big game. Sometimes managers can play the occasion and not the fixture. We need to play the fixture and look at Liverpool as well. The Liverpool we're playing. It's not the Liverpool 4 years ago, like we said. So we don't have to change too much. If our players and your players go out and give 100% each tomorrow, we still probably win 2-1. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think we need to go out there and do what we do. So yeah, play our plan A first and then plan B with Rashford. If we play him up top, just remember I said this, I'll be so pissed off because if it doesn't work for 60 minutes, what does Ten Hag then do from there? So yeah.
It's mad because I know you've spoken about Weghorst.
I like Ty's answer.
Wow, you've been talking about saying, like you don't rate him. You weren't really a feeling.
I'm not a big fan. Yeah,
but I'm a massive fan. I'm a massive fan. I think what I see from him, the link-up play, the fact he gives you a different option,
the link-up play, right?
You know, but what I mean by that is not in a similar, not in the same way a Martial links up play or a Benzema where they're dropping in and then it's really cool. But what he does really well, he allows you guys to actually play further up the pitch, because what he does, he tries to go and pin his man, and the ball comes into it, and he's setting it into Bruno, setting it into Rashford. And I know there's a goal, the goal you scored in the Carabao Cup final.
Yeah.
He's gone, and it didn't look pretty, but he's gone and pinned. I think it was Shah. I think he's gone and pinned Shah. Got the 1-2, got it back, and then the ability to go and play that pass is underrated. A lot of strikers, if that was Nunes in that situation,
they're shooting
that pass. He's overhitting that pass, or he's going to go and try shoot. We've seen it, even at certain times, like whoever we've had up front, even Gakpo overhit the pass, underhit the pass. That pass staying to Rashford, especially in a final, that was massive. That was massive for me. And I think it's interesting. If Matip was on form, I'd be much, much more confident coming up against a Weghorst up front. And I know Konate has been amazing. When Konate, because of the type of centre back Konate is, he likes to get tight. And for me, if Weghorst is smart enough, I think if I was a betting man, and I'm not a betting man, I'd go and put Konate getting a yellow card in this game, because the problem he's going to have is when Trent's bombing forward, he's going to have the space that Rashford's going to target into. He's going to try run into. And he's also going to have Weghorst, who's going to be trying to pin him, because he's not going to go next to Verge. He's going to try pin him and get the ball to feet and set it into Rashford or set it into. For me, sometimes Konate can be a bit rash, and we've spoken about it, G, before, about that bozo gene in him.
Yeah. It's like the Eric Bailly thing. They just want the ball.
Exactly, and he does everything he trusts to get the ball. And sometimes you just need a bit more calm in that situation. So, like, look, I'm happy Konate is in, because listen, in terms of form, he's much, much better.
And also, do you know what it is? His recovery pace for me. I feel like when Rashford's coming in behind, Konate can get across. I'm gutted personally as that Konate's back for you, because I want it back.
But for me, go on. So, for me, just to finish up, but for me, the reason why I think a Weghorst is interesting, because that recovery pace, it's not going to be in effect, because Weghorst isn't the type of striker that's going to be moving about and asking other centre-backs to pick him. He's going to stand on Konate and be like, what, are you going to leave me free? And what's going to happen is that ball goes into Rashford, Konate's got to win that ball very, very quickly. Because Rashford's going to, if Rashford stands him up, even if you don't beat him, he's going to find Weghorst that's going to be open in space. Open in space. Bruno's going to be open in space. That running from Konate when he's leaving the centre, that's what's going to scare me a lot, because I looked at that Carabao Cup game. That's exactly what happened with Cher. Wanted to win the ball, a bit too hesitant. Yeah, and then leave that gap right back. And all of a sudden, when Rashford's running at you now, especially the form he's on, he's going to cause problems. So, yeah, man. Sorry, G.
No. To be fair, you kind of said it there. I was going to say to Ty anyway. Is it like you see with Weghorst up front? Is it almost like he becomes a trigger for your wing players / Bruno to kind of come into effect if he pins down one of the centre backs, whether he pins down Verge, whether he pins down whoever's playing? I feel like that's going to become a trigger for your Anthony's, Rashford, and Bruno to just boom to come into play. So if he does pin himself on Verge for, let's say, there's a ball coming in and he just happens to be on Verge, I'd still back him to be able to pin himself against a Verge. I'm not saying he necessarily has to win all the duels and everything like that. It's just about getting Verge out of the way to allow Anthony to come in field, to allow Rashford to then run in behind, to then Bruno to then go beyond Weghorst. So then he then becomes the striker or the false nine, whatever you want to call him. All of a sudden now, you've got 3 players beyond our defense. And all of a sudden now it's like, we're defending against the 3 and we have no one really there.
Firmino does it, Martial does it, Gabriel Jesus does it, and I put Weghorst kind of in that category. They don't get the ball at the edge of the box. They kind of sit in between the penalty box and the halfway line. You know, that little bit there. Yeah. And what they do, they obviously will try and feed the ball into him. If he flicks it out left and right and we get the ball set off, that's when obviously the runners go on. Rashford, Anthony, Bruno as well, because you've got to think about Bruno, and it's a slight thing, but I've always said it. When Martial and Weghorst play, because they're more link-up strikers, Bruno is definitely a midfielder that likes to get beyond the striker and run sort of into the box and get onto the, I call it, you know, not like Lampard, but, you know, they get on the end of things as well. Of course they can create, but they get on the end of things. Ronaldo, obviously, unfortunately, at his age of like 37, 36, he was just, you know, he converted his body into like a goal scorer. He occupied central areas. So him and Bruno, when you look at a record of them two, it never quite worked. However, you've seen us with Weghorst, you've seen us with Martial. Bruno does get the joy because he kind of gets the freedom, the license, because he's got someone that we know when we get the ball into him, okay, like you said, he might not win every duel, but 6 or 7 times out of 10, we're getting the ball set off and then we can maintain attacks. And I think that's going to be key for us tomorrow. I don't want it to turn into a game of like pinball, because I feel like that does suit you if it's just an end-to-end sort of game, you know, where Gakpo, Jota, Nunes, Salah can all run into space. I want us to be in that position where we probably play a bit of a higher line, not super high, because I know you've got pace, but a bit of a higher line and try and sustain our attacks. Casemiro tomorrow is going to be, I know he's been key all season, but there's games where there's games. This is a game where this is a game we need him to thrive in. If he can, you know, we get the ball up into the final third and you like Virgil van Dijk wins a header and heads it out, he needs to be the first one getting the recovery ball. It's the recovery balls for me. There's going to be a lot the second balls. Tomorrow it's going to be Fabinho for you guys. When we get the knockdowns, you want him on the transition, getting the ball quickly and then spraying it out, and you're running at a 4v4. Casemiro, the same for us. When we get the ball, we need him getting it and giving it. But also when we attack, I believe that the lack of creativity in this Liverpool midfield might allow us to just sort of pen you back for 15, 20 minutes. But we have to score in that moment, because the truth is, every team, you play Nottingham Forest away, you play Burnley away, I know they're in Championship, but you play these teams away or whatever it is. Even the lower teams are always going to have spells where they get chances. Yes, they might play Man City or whatever it is. Bournemouth did last week. Yes, they lost 4-0, but there was like a 15-minute period where they were just like all over City, and it's like, it can happen. We're playing Liverpool here. Let's put respect in it. Liverpool tomorrow are going to have their moments. Liverpool are going to have to take their moments. We don't concede a lot of goals. I think it's 1 goal from open play when Casemiro, Varane and Martinez have played together. Do you know what I mean? That's consistent. That's a base there. They know what they're doing. So you're going to have to be clinical, whereas I feel like we're going to have to make the pressure count, because I do think we're going to have more sustained moments, which is weird because like I said to you, it doesn't really happen at Anfield. I haven't come there this confident in a long time. However, we still need to get the job done. I'm still going to be proper nervous. This is still Liverpool Football Club. And if you need a win to kind of get your last third of the season going as you challenge for top 4, think Wolves beat Tottenham today, Newcastle lost today, you're chasing that 4th spot. You still can get it. A win like that tomorrow could just propel everything. Forget the Champions League. You're not scoring 4 at Madrid. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It can happen. Stranger things have happened, but this is your target now. And if you can win tomorrow, this just might be the win that just like propels everything.
Yeah. So I agree.
G, I'm not going to get involved in this, but I want you to give me your preferred starting lineup. Now, listen, I know you like dropping some free at the back. We're going to have, like, 2 registas. You're going to play by Chetic. But listen, it's not going to happen, innit? I need you to do a realistic team, and I need everyone in, obviously, in the comments as well to chime in with this one. How are you lining up, man?
Back 4, obviously, Ali, Robbo, Robbo, Van Dijk, Konate, Trent, Bajcetic,
Milner. No, I'm joking.
The question is, G, and this is what I'm going to pose to you. Do you go Elliot, and do you go with the same team that beat Wolves?
Bit of legs.
No, because I keep saying this about Liverpool. They need to stop playing the same team that they've played the game before for the next game, because every team is obviously different. Wolves and Manchester United are they offer us 2 different things. So I don't think you can come up there with the same team. Elliot, I think he's gonna go with Bajcetic, Henderson, and I think he's gonna go with Fabinho. Fabinho, Bajcetic, and Henderson. I think he's gonna go with that 3. I think with the Henderson, because of Marcus Rashford and because of that threat that he's going to pose in the game, I feel like he's only going to trust Henderson to play on that side of the pitch with Trent. So I think he's going to go with Henderson on that side. Up front,
yes,
I don't know why I'm even questioning it. To be honest, he's going to go with Darwin Núñez, Gakpo, and Salah. I don't think he's going to try Jota because
did he rest? Do you think he rested Gakpo in midweek for this game then?
Yeah, because when I looked at it, I was like, why would you rest him? But then I thought, you know what? You're probably resting him because he's played so many games anyway in a row, just come to the team, still trying to integrate himself, obviously, in the team. I don't think he's going to go with Jota.
I guess you got to give Jota minutes as well to kind of get him up and running. But
yeah, like we've seen how Jota is. Like Jota's one of them guys. Like you can't just he just looks all janky. Like when he's coming into, I can't really trust that. And Firmino, I don't actually know if he's actually fit, but I actually don't even know what that situation is like. But I don't think he'd even drop Firmino in a game like this anyway, unless he was 100% fit. So I think he's going to go with Salah, Gakpo down the middle with Núñez on the left. And I think he's going to look at that and think to himself, as long as I've got Henderson and Salah and Núñez all functioning, those three, in his eyes, I think if they function with Trent, I feel like he's going to look at that and think, all right, I've got Robbo going up and down the wing. I've got Núñez and Robbo kind of doing their thing, meaning Manchester United are going to have to worry about that threat. When it comes to Mo Salah, I don't think Mo Salah is going to... I'm saying it now, even though he scored against them last season. I don't think he's going to have a good game because I feel like if you play Luke Shaw on that side, Shaw can lock him up. I feel like Shaw would be able to lock him up quite easily. Where Salah would have to come into play is if he gets a lot of space in behind. If he gets that space, then yeah, maybe it's a different kind of game. I feel like Manchester United are going to be, they're just a bit more clever this season. Like, I'm not looking at this Man United team like the same way I looked at the Moyes team or the Oli team, and where I just thought they're not clever enough. Not that you don't have good players, you're just not clever enough. Whereas I look at this team and I think to myself, they're a lot more clever now. They know exactly what they need to do in these kind of situations. They're going to have obviously been training for however long for this game, and they know the threats of Liverpool, and they know where Liverpool can hurt them. And I think they're going to look at it and think, keep Salah quiet. You've done 60% of Liverpool's job. That's no problem. Now, Trent would be the only other one, but even with Trent, his only ball is going to be to Núñez. So if you can kind of stop that and nullify that, and you don't even have to stop Trent from doing it. You can allow Trent to keep making that ball. Trent will probably still be able to hit that pass 9 times out of 10. Núñez is the one you need to stop.
I'm a little bit worried, man, because you've got with Salah. I know you can keep him quiet, but I just feel like I think Ryan's just said it there. 10 goals in his last 7 games against United. Just some people have that know-how of what to do in the big games. He doesn't have to have a great game, right? And Rashford's like this season, by the way. He doesn't play great, but he knows where to be. He knows where to find the net. And Salah's always going to be a threat because he could be poor for 40 minutes. Or Robertson cuts it back and Salah just, is in he takes deflection. Something goes in. Salah can perform in these big games. And this is why I feel like with Liverpool, I just can't take nothing for granted because you have got players that can just produce moments. I did have one question that I wanted to ask you guys, though, because you look at Arsenal today, 2-0 down against Bournemouth. I didn't get excited. I was like 60th minute. Sometimes that's even a bit too early. They're going to come back. They do against Bournemouth. If we go 1-0 up, are your guys' heads going to drop as fans and players? Because I feel like if we go 1-0 down and keep it 1-0 to say 30 minutes, I think we can still find our way back into the game. But I actually feel for once, if we go 1-0 up, we could take the game to you, and it could be like 2-0 before you know it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think with me, with Liverpool, is if we go 1-0 down, especially early on, first 10, 20 minutes, it's up to the players to bring us out of this. The fans are going to be quiet. And become a library. Klopp's he's going to start pulling that smile like he's just taken a molly the night before and he's recovering. He's going to be looking all sorts of crazy. And for me, that's where it just all starts to go downhill, and it will be up to the players, and it'll be individual quality. So Salah getting the ball and maybe scoring a scream or something that kind of rallies the crowd up again. I don't see any tactic, any substitution coming on that's going to go and make a difference in that type of game.
That's why I'm worried for you, like, if we score first.
Because for me, because once Real Madrid scored the equaliser, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. And look, we were 2-0 up, so that equaliser was a gut-wrenching punch. If United go into the break at 1-0 up at Anfield, I think
we'd end up running out of what I don't like about Liverpool is you end up just running out of ideas, and you end up just keep trying to do the same thing over and over again. And then when you start seeing that, and it's you start noticing it. Like I noticed it quite a lot last season when we were on that kind of quadruple run. In games where things are not working out, you start doing the same thing over and over again. So it's kind of like cross and just pray and all of these kind of like different kind of things. But I feel like we will end up doing that if you go in the break, especially if you go into the break 1-0 up. To be honest, even if you went into the break 0-0, I still think that we'd probably go into there thinking Klopp might just look at it and I know Klopp, he's gonna spin it and just kind of make it seem like no, we're doing all right. No, don't worry about it, man. It's only 0-0. You know what I mean? We can still. Whereas I'll be kind of worried because I'd look at it and think, if it's 0-0 at half time, Man United will be happy. Liverpool shouldn't be happy. Man United will be happy because at the end of the day, they're coming to Anfield. So for them, regardless of anything,
and we've already seen it this season. Ten Hag can definitely tweak something.
Exactly, and this is my worry, and this is what I keep trying to stress to people when I talk about Liverpool and Klopp and blah blah blah. You don't necessarily always have to keep looking at it from a position of, wow, we didn't invest this, that, and the third. Sometimes you actually have to just be a manager and understand what you've got on the bench. Even if you've got absolute crap on the bench, you should be able to work something and just change something. He doesn't do that. So then I'm worried that because you guys actually have the players on the bench to be able to change it, that's just going to become bread and butter. But like I said, I think this game is won and lost for me. That 15, 20 minutes, I think we'll start to see a pattern. If it goes 0-0, 15 minutes, then we get to 20 minutes, still 0-0, and then Manchester United start getting into the game. You watch how the game's. You'll see it tying it yourself. You'll just notice the pattern just going to go, and it's going to go, it's going to go, and you're going to notice, bang, out of nowhere, Rashford, and you're just going to be like, there you go. Simple.
That is it. If we get through the first 20 minutes at 0-0 or 1-0 up, the game is where we're in the game, and I think this is it, man. And we just gotta see how it goes, man.
Look, just gonna get before I get this comment up, we're gonna end with this comment. Just gonna get some of the other comments up as well, and then obviously we're gonna get our score predictions in. Big up to Gary Richards. Gary Richards saying, look, 4-4-2. Alisson, Becker, Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, Elliott, Bajcetic, Henderson, Gakpo, Nunes, and Salah. So oh wow, interesting. Dropping Fabinho.
Yeah, Callum and Coppish said Tsimikas over Robertson as well.
Oh, interesting. Weghorst has finally made me appreciate Firmino still. That's Ed. We got Andre Zinic saying, you are not playing at Old Trafford. You are coming to real hell. This is Anfield. That's at the tie. Paul Smith saying, our first priority is to make ourselves difficult to beat tomorrow against United.
That might be fair.
Facts. We got Angel 968 saying, look, stop with this Weghorst hype. He's the Dutch Chris Wood.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan, Angel. I understand it, but at the end of the day, he's available and he's going to play. So
listen, the fact that he's Dutch already makes up. I mean, you add a couple more points on that. So he's not Chris Wood. Do you get it? He's not Chris Wood. We got, hold on, a couple more here. We got Ryan saying, Jerry and G, be positive, my guys. This is the game that we will turn up for. You can be confident. I'm not going to be confident for you, bro. Ales saying, we have to just remain switched on at all times. The Real Madrid equalizer and next goal came from them passing it about for a few minutes and switching off, and us switching off. Next thing, it's 2-2. Facts. Ales, man, facts. And so we're going to end on this one, man. Scouse African saying, listen, you three, I'll be winning tomorrow. And we might as well use that to kind of, give our score predictions, man. So, Ty, chat to us, man.
Yeah, man. It's going to be tighter than what people think. I am more worried if you guys get the first goal, but I think based on form right now and, our impact off the bench in Ten Hag, I'm going to go with a tight 2-1 United. That's the first time I predicted a win at Anfield since God knows when. Wow.
G?
Big up. Yeah, I'm going 2-1 United. I think they'll actually come out fast, and I think they'll bag 2 and we'll score sometime before. I think all goals will be in the first half, and I think the second half will just be some 0-0 boring game where Man United will just kind of play their game and we'll try to score. We'll get a few moments, but yeah, I think Man United win this 2-1.
I'm going to be a bit.
Now, what's your score, bro? No, don't get walking away from this.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to be a bit different just because I was going to say 2-1, but I'm going to say 1-1. I think the fans turn up, and I think their fans have a massive part to play in us not losing this game, but I just don't see us winning. As I said, if we had lost against Wolves, I'd have been coming in here actually thinking, we're winning against United, because us being down in the dumps, we need to be the real underdog to go and really turn up for these games. When you look at it, as you said, 4 home clean sheets in the Premier League.
Exactly.
I mean, defense is looking better. Certain fans are saying, like we're seeing here, Ryan saying, look, we've got to trust the team. We've got, do you know what I mean? Red Swan saying, look, and big up to Red Swan saying, look, how are you guys getting this United fan to come on and make you feel like you've...
I haven't been biased. I've been good, man.
I know that's what I'm saying, but that's what I'm saying. Certain fans are, do you know what I mean, are proper confident in us. And do you know what I mean? Like Ryan saying, look, he trusts that the teams are going to get up for this. I thought they'd get up for Real Madrid and they didn't. So
this is it. And you know what, Jeremy?
I thought we'd get up for Nottingham Forest. I thought we'd get up for Leeds. I thought we'd get up for Fulham. I thought we'd get up for Palace. I thought we'd get up for Brighton. I thought we'd get up for Wolves. But guess what? We're sitting here with losses and draws.
Listen, this is Man United. If they can't get up for any game other than this, then there's a problem. This is Manchester United, and this is why this is the greatest game in English football. I still say it. I don't care about the Man City.
Yeah, no, I definitely.
Man City, Man City, Arsenal this year. Man United, Liverpool is the biggest, and yeah, man, everyone's gonna be nervous come walking out time, man.
Exactly, man. Exactly. But look, until tomorrow, people, I just obviously want to say massive thank you for obviously Ty for coming on as well. As we said, make sure to obviously check out Ty, obviously on Never a Foul.
Sure, guys.
And Tunnel. Make sure obviously the links are going to be in the description as well, so I'm going to put that in there. Just Ty, let the people know what's obviously coming up on Never a Foul.
Yeah, man. Now, big up. First of all, thank you for having me. See obviously Aless, I see Romz, see Sophia, some of the people coming over, so big up on that. Make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe, people. Like I say, I only really do show the people that talk real football content, honest analysis and that, like these guys right here, man. So let's get Jerry and G's channel popping. So yeah, you can find me Never a Foul for our generic channel, all things football, and then Trafford Tunnel is the Manchester United channel, and I'm on there with Saeed at full time at 7:30 actually. So that'll be interesting to see if we're talking positive or negative. But
I'll be tuned in. I'll be tuned in.
Yeah, man, lock in, man. Even cupboard if you want, bro. It'd be nice to have a Liverpool guest actually if you want, man. So if you're about,
say no more. Say no more.
Come on.
Yeah, love that, man. But now, guys, thank you for having me as always, man. Big up you guys, 2 real guys, man. So thank you.
And G, obviously, massive, obviously, return of the G. Do you know what I mean? Return of the G. G's coming. So, yeah, massive. Look, obviously, good to have G back on, as always. Please, obviously, send your well wishes to G again. Hopefully, you got all of them. And, yeah, let the people know what's dropping on GTV as well. Because, obviously, as always, you watch GTV, you get your little preview, your daily dose, and then we come in and chop it up live. So, yeah, I know the preview. You dropped the preview on the channel earlier on today for the United.
No, so I decided to. I said I would. I'd wait. Actually, I've done it, but I'm gonna drop it tomorrow morning.
Cool. Tomorrow morning,
which actually kind of times in well with what we've actually spoken about today, which is funny. So I said, all right, that's perfect. So yeah, guys, tomorrow, man. Make sure you check out the preview for tomorrow's game. And then yeah, after the game, I'll be bouncing around here. Catch me on Trafford TV, wherever. Literally after the game, we'll see what's popping. So I'll be there, man. I'll be there.
That, man. But look, people, until next time, it's been the Jerry James Show, and we're out, people.